Hey everybody, welcome back to Sip&Talk. I'm Joe. And as always, I'm ready to dive into some seriously juicy info with you all today. It's like we're mixing up a knowledge cocktail here. Strong stuff, but oh, so smooth going down.
And I'm Sunny, your friendly neighborhood fact checker. I'll make sure we get all the ingredients right. Speaking of mixing things up, you know it's always a good blend? Travel whiskey and discovering awesome new things. You have to check out our friend Mickey's YouTube channel, Mickey to Life.
Yeah, Mickey's the best. He's always got something cool going on.
Ah, man. Finally, my second cup of coffee. I am awake and ready to go.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time zone you're in. Welcome back to Sip&Talk.
Hey, welcome. So glad you're joining us today.
Okay, so taking the deep breath here. I have to warn you right off the bat, when we put this out, our comment section is absolutely going to explode. Like, it might literally turn into a social media battlefield.
Oh, bring it on. I mean, as long as we're using, actual logical deduction and not just blind hate, let it explode. What wall are we tearing down today?
Well, we usually talk about all this absurd public behavior, right? Like aggressive online mobs or people acting totally out of line when they travel abroad.
Yeah.
And the comfortable, easy explanation is always, oh, it's the systemic brainwashing.
Right. We blame the firewall or authoritarian education.
Exactly. We blame the system and everyone nods along. But today, we're doing a pretty ruthless thought experiment. What if we reverse the cause and effect?
Wait, reverse it how?
Like, what if the collective culture and the population itself actually chose, or at least heavily shaped, that authoritarian system?
Oh, wow. Okay, so the ultimate chicken or the egg debate.
Yes. It's tackling that really famous defense you hear all the time. There are just too many of us, and without strict control, there would be total chaos.
That is spicy. But for everyone listening, for all our Sip&Talkers out there, think of this thought experiment as a shortcut to understanding one of the most complex sociological puzzles out there right now. We're going to see if that too many people argument is an actual geographical reality or just, a really convenient excuse.
To do that, we have to start by looking at the specific behaviors that trigger that defense in the first place. Like, think about the international headlines we see. Tourists kicking those protected sacred deer in Nara, Japan.
Ugh, yes, I saw that video. Just awful.
Right, or people stealing crops from private farms, or just screaming at the top of their lungs in quiet European museums. And it's not just outsiders judging this. Domestic intellectuals have been fiercely critiquing it for decades.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Yang wrote The Ugly Chinaman years ago.
Exactly. And more recently, the psychologist Zhihong Wu published that incredibly controversial book, A Nation of Giant Babies.
Just the title alone, A Nation of Giant Babies, you know exactly why it caused a firestorm. But let's unpack that psychological concept because it's fascinating. A giant baby is essentially what happens when you combine an adult's physical destructiveness, like their credit cards, their mobility, with the emotional regulation of an infant.
It's pure egocentrism.
Totally. Babies operate purely on the pleasure principle. They have zero sense of public boundaries. If a baby is inconvenienced, it screams. And when an actual infant does that, it's normal. But when a grown adult does it in a foreign country, it's wild.
And the psychology there is that they expect the world to just accommodate their desires, exactly like a parent would. So when a local tour guide tells them no, they don't feel embarrassed, they throw a tantrum.
And then comes the defense. The pushback is always, well, population density. We have over 1 billion people. We have to fight for resources. So without an iron fist, society would collapse. But I have a massive problem with that argument.
Tell me.
Look at India. India also has a population of over 1.4 billion people. They face incredible infrastructure pressures, extreme wealth gaps, crazy resource competition.
Their cities are just as packed, if not more.
Exactly. Yet their societal governance logic is this chaotic but functioning democracy. And crucially, the collective behavior of Indian citizens traveling abroad doesn't fit that exact same pattern of giant baby entitlement that requires a state-sponsored defense.
That's such a good point. It shows that too many people is literally just a statistical fact. It's a statistical fact that gets used as a fig leaf to cover up behavioral chaos.
It's not some biological mandate for authoritarianism.
No, it's not. In fact, political science studies out of Berkeley look at this concept called authoritarian legitimacy. A successful system doesn't just use police force. It uses a narrative. It actively convinces its citizens that without a heavy-handed ruler, they would instantly drop into a Hobbesian jungle.
Just a brutal war of all against all.
Exactly.
But if too many people is just an excuse, why are these behaviors so stubborn? Like, is it a deep-seated cultural DNA thing, or is the system actively manufacturing this immaturity?
To figure that out, we have to contrast two totally different cultural mechanisms.
Yeah.
Shame culture versus face culture.
Oh, this is the really interesting part.
Yeah, so Ruth Benedict wrote this classic study called The Chrysanthemum and the Sword, where she categorized Japan as a shame culture, meaning your behavior is driven by external evaluation.
You're constantly worried about what the collective thinks of you.
Right. The fear of being the nail that sticks out causes immediate self-correction. You police your own behavior because feeling shame is just unbearable.
But face culture operates on a completely different logic.
Guys.
Face culture is highly contextual, and it's all about relationships.
Yeah, so rules aren't these absolute objective things.
No, they flex depending on who you are, who has power, and who is giving face to whom. Face is essentially your social currency. So if you make a mistake, like you get caught breaking a rule at a tourist trap, admitting fault destroys your face.
It bankrupts your social currency.
Exactly. So instead of apologizing or self-correcting, the instinct is to cover it up. You deflect blame, or you just aggressively double down.
And we've seen this play out historically, too. Like, bad tourist behavior isn't permanently locked into one specific group's DNA. Think back to the 1960s. We had the whole stereotype of the ugly American.
Oh, yeah. Americans throwing money around Europe demanding everyone speak English.
Right. And then in the 1980s, during Japan's massive economic boom, Japanese tourists had a terrible reputation. They were criticized for ignoring etiquette, traveling in loud packs, buying up all the luxury goods.
Because wealth almost always outpaces civic awareness. You get the money to travel way before you learn the cosmopolitan etiquette.
Exactly. But the difference is how the society responds. In the 80s, Japan saw that international criticism, and they launched massive civic education campaigns. Within a decade, they totally self-corrected.
The internal shame drove the change. But here is where modern authoritarianism throws up a giant roadblock. Observations from places like the New York Times and The Economist point out that these systems use nationalism as a shield.
Yes. They don't want self-correction.
Right. So when someone gets criticized abroad for acting badly, the state media instantly escalates it. They frame it as diplomatic discrimination.
They make it political.
Exactly. By politicizing it, they block any chance for societal self-reflection. And honestly, there's a powerful psychological analogy here. When you manage adults like toddlers and you surveil them like criminals, they are eventually going to act exactly like toddlers and criminals.
Oh, wow. That is so true.
I mean, think about it. You have social credit systems, zero rule of law, facial recognition everywhere. If a camera is the only reason you aren't jaywalking, you never actually learn the civic value of traffic safety. You just learn to look for the camera. You destroy the opportunity to learn how to be a modern, self-regulating citizen.
That is such a heavy realization. But it begs the question, why did this specific blend of an omnipotent parent state and these rule-anxious citizens evolve in this specific region in the first place?
Yeah, let's zoom out. What does historical sociology say about this?
Well, there are a few classic academic frameworks that give us a really objective lens. First, there's Carl Wittfogel's idea of the hydraulic society.
Hydraulic, like water management.
Exactly. It's about the brutal ecological reality of the region. Managing these massive violent rivers like the Yellow River was literally a matter of life and death. To stop catastrophic floods, you couldn't just have a bunch of villages debating what to do.
You needed thousands of people mobilized at once.
Millions, even. You needed an extreme, centralized bureaucracy to build the dikes and canals. It was a survival strategy that eventually evolved into total control.
Okay, so the geography handed them this setup, but how do you philosophically justify giving one entity all that power?
That's where John King Fairbanks' Confucian paternalism comes in. The family system just scaled up to the state level. The emperor is the ultimate father figure, and filial piety, which is unquestioning obedience to the father, translates directly into political loyalty to the state.
It creates hyperstability, but it completely kills off civil society.
Completely. And it ties right into Max Weber's concept of the patrimonial bureaucracy. The lack of an independent legal system, it becomes rule by law, which is just a tool for rulers to punish people, not rule of law, which would actually protect citizens.
Right. The law isn't a mutual contract. It's just the father's disciplinary tool.
Exactly. And living under that for centuries causes what Lucian Pye called an authority crisis. a deep psychological anxiety within the collective. People become terrified of losing authority, and they develop this dependent personality where they can't even imagine a world without an omnipotent father figure managing them.
Okay, let me synthesize this because that is a lot of heavy academic stuff. Basically, geography and history handed this region an omnipotent parent setup, and that environment hatched rule-anxious citizens. Because they fear the chaos of independence, they continuously support the heavy-handed parent.
Yes.
It's an environmental adaptation. It's not a genetic flaw.
Which is such a crucial distinction because if it's an environmental adaptation, then what happens when you change the environment? We have to look at populations with the exact same cultural roots who completely broke the mold.
The ultimate control groups.
Exactly. We are talking about Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Perfect examples. Both share identical Confucian roots with the mainland, but their historical riverbeds, so to speak, were totally altered.
Let's look at Hong Kong first. They experienced 150 years of British rule of law. Now, they didn't have full democracy for most of that time, but they had the institutions, especially the ICAC, the anti-corruption agency.
Oh, ICAC was huge for them.
Huge. It built a deep generational respect for civic boundaries and fairness.
And then you look at Taiwan. Taiwan is fascinating because they absolutely experienced authoritarianism under martial law, but, and this is a massive difference, it was authoritarianism, not totalitarianism.
Wait, break that difference down for everyone listening.
So, totalitarianism wants to control every single aspect of your life. Where you work, what you read, who you talk to. Authoritarianism just wants a monopoly on political power, but they might leave your private life alone.
Oh, right.
Taiwan allowed private property. They allowed small and medium enterprises to thrive. And crucially, they allowed local elections. So even if the top-level government was locked down, citizens were building what I call civil society muscle. They were voting for village leaders, running businesses, gaining economic independence.
And it proves that Confucianism does not inherently require a dictatorship.
Exactly. But meanwhile, on the mainland, you had the exact opposite happening.
Yes, during the Cultural Revolution. That was when traditional Confucian trust was just systematically obliterated. You had children turning on their parents, neighbors reporting on neighbors.
And when you destroy organic community bonds like that and replace them with extreme state surveillance, trust dies.
It completely dies, and society becomes a zero-sum jungle. If you can't trust your neighbor, you have to fight for every single resource. You shove your way onto the train, you yell the loudest at the restaurant because quiet politeness is seen as weakness.
It creates an artificial scarcity mindset, which completely flips that whole Confucian theory on its head for me. It proves that if you actually give people the soil of the rule of law and true economic independence, they will grow into self-regulating, respectful, modern citizens.
Absolutely.
The whole "there are too many people" argument is just a tragedy. It's the tragedy of a system that broke its citizens' legs and now demands eternal gratitude for handing them crutches.
Man, that is a heavy, heavy way to put it, but it's so illuminating. I mean, reducing everything we've talked about today to just, it's all the system's fault, is lazy. But calling the people inherently flawed or saying they are just naturally giant babies is a prejudiced, fatalistic cop-out.
Yeah, it's a tragic, symbiotic cycle where the culture and the system just feed off each other.
And we want to be super clear here. Our goal with this thought experiment isn't to criticize or discriminate against any nation or group of people.
Not at all. We are purely providing objective facts and historical context to help foster critical, independent thinking. We want you to look past the easy explanations. Also, just a quick, breezy note, anytime we talk about global economics or anything, it's not financial advice. We are podcasters, not your brokers.
Definitely not brokers.
But seriously, if you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to the Sip&Talk podcast.
Oh, and real quick, a huge shout out to our old friend Mickey. You guys have to go subscribe to Mickey to Life on YouTube. His new travel vlogs are just amazing. Go check them out.
Yes, definitely check out Mickey's channel. Thank you so much to all our Sip&Talkers for joining us on this bold thought experiment today. We will definitely be seeing you down in the comments section.
See you next time. Bye.